I, 33, female, caught my husband, 31 male, in an affair, and I don't know how to move on. I've suspected things had been going on for a while, but kept brushing it off. I thought he would never do that to me. Since around April, he's been refusing my attempts to have sex most of the time, sitting differently on a couch to where he's facing away from me. Little things. It's with one of our good friends. She came to my house a few weeks ago. She's texted me. She's pretended to be there for me. I found out because I rolled over and they were having a Snapchat conversation. She said she wished she could be there to hold him and his samurais that I tried to seduce him last night and mocked it. I confronted him and he admitted it. He said that it was because quarantine was stressful. He does not want to work things out. He thinks of me only as a friend in his heart. When I told her husband, he confronted her and apparently they actually kissed back in February. I think at that moment, I was never going to be enough for him. We used to be so happy. The week before they kissed, we celebrated Valentine's Day together. He bought us a nice bottle of wine for our anniversary. We had fun. We were perfect. I don't know where to go from here. We've been married only about a year. I feel like he took so much from me and doesn't even want to go to therapy to work this out. I don't want to leave my house, but everywhere in it I see him. He chose her. I've been cheated in every relationship I've ever been in. He was supposed to be my forever. I don't know what to do. I've made therapy appointments, but I was also laid off last month, so I have too much free time to analyze every single moment where he might have been lying to me or where I made myself pathetic, trying to cling to him. How do I start to get through this? Updates? First of all, I just want to thank everyone here for the support I received following my first post back in August. At the time, it truly felt like my world was ending. It was important to me to make this update because I need to tell anyone who's currently going through the same thing. It gets better. You will get so much better. I had one conversation with my husband since everything happened, by his choice. It lasted maybe 5 minutes and was like talking to a robot. I know from others that he cries to people about how he ruined his life, but I have never once gotten an apology or the same show of regret. At this point, I don't care. I know him and the other woman are still seeing each other, and frankly, they deserve each other. Good for them. While I still feel angry occasionally, I no longer mourn what I once had. Instead, I'm so excited for the life I now get to live. I moved to a small, walkable city and gave myself my dream apartment. It makes me so happy to see how I've decorated it and to just live in a cozy place instead of our old dreary house. I was the breadwinner in our marriage, and he would make me feel awful about wanting to pay for nice meals or do fun things. Since moving here, I've done a ton of foodie fun stuff and don't feel guilty. It's so refreshing. I have dipped my toe into the dating pool again and had plenty of mediocre dates from dating apps. Recently, I found someone who I've really clicked with, and I'm enjoying how appreciated and desired he's made me feel. It's definitely early and we're moving slow, but overall, dating has made me realize that I'm a catch who doesn't know how to settle. Therapy has done wonders and I'm so happy. I immediately dove into it. My therapist is proud of me. I'm proud of me. I've stopped looking at being divorced as a failure. You failed, not me. I'm genuinely happy and excited to wake up each morning and no longer feel like this terrible weight is sitting on my chest. The holidays were surprisingly easy, and I found myself so happy to spend time with my family without giving to compromise anything. So, all in all, life is good and there's so much of it ahead. Looking back, I can't believe I wasted so much time thinking about how I could get him to come home. I've made my own home and my own happiness, and that is worth so much more.
Lawyer first. Get the divorce filed and get their advice on if it's okay for you to leave the house while things are processing. As for the other, you need to fill your time. Devote yourself to hobbies, including picking up new ones. Rely on friends, long video calls, watching movies together, etc. Fill as much of your time as you can until things start to process. I'm so sorry he gave up on you without even trying, Hon. You deserve far better than that. It's a shame some people are so good at hiding how little respect they have for other folk, but please hold on to the fact that none of this was your fault. There is absolutely zero reason for a partner to cheat, ever, and there is absolutely no justification that can put even a shred of the blame on you. You can't go to therapy and work this out. It only gets worked out if both people want to put the effort in, and your husband has made it very clear he's not interested in trying to make the relationship work. He directly told you that. You need to find a lawyer and file for divorce. Have a mantra to help you when things get overwhelming. I'm going to be okay. This sucks, but I'm going to be okay. I am a loyal, trustworthy, hardworking woman. I deserve the same in return. I am beautiful, I am confident, I am worthy. Even if you don't feel they are true in this moment, it will help to say them out loud until they hold truth to you. I'm sorry you are going through this. You can't trust this man anymore, and he is not willing to compromise with you. You deserve better. I absolutely have to agree with how helpful a mantra can be. My ex-husband was abusive, cheating, lying, stealing, just the worst possible, and we had been together since we were young teens. It was a hard break-up. He kicked out me, and our 2 kids, 1 and 2 years old at the time, right after maxing out my credit cards, and spending all of our savings. I hadn't been allowed to work since the kids were born, because he would threaten me every time. He didn't pay child support, or see the kids. He was stalking me, and I was scared to file for divorce, because he didn't want me to, and was legitimately dangerous. I got through the first year just repeating I can, I am, I will, which was short for I can get through this / do these things / make something positive out of this, because I'm doing it, and I will continue to until I come out on the other side. Finished a degree, got a good full-time job with benefits, am raising these beautiful children, to be better than he was, and it keeps getting better. That mantra pulled me out of some dark thoughts. It wasn't over the top, and was just enough that I could actually believe it. I was where you are 5 years ago. My husband leaving me in subsequent divorce was very sudden and traumatic. It took time, but eventually I got my emotional shit together and life went on. You'll be thrown for a loop for a while, but what absolutely will help is cutting both people out completely. No gaining closure talks, no coffee dates to catch up, no late night texts, etc. Block them on all social media and step back from mutual friends. Make sure you are serious in your conviction that your husband is a stranger who doesn't deserve your time. Same goes for your friend. That means they aren't allowed to weasel their way back into your life. You loving either one of them is not an excuse to let them back in your life. You have to accept and understand that fact. One or the other will want some form of contact at some point. They don't deserve that from you. Throw yourself into hobbies, friends, getting a new job, exercising, whatever. The first thing you need to do is work on what your first step in the divorce will be. Go talk to a lawyer. Many offer free initial consultations. You are posting here asking for emotional support, and you do clearly need it, but the main thing you need to do is get yourself out of this terrible situation where you are married to someone who doesn't give two shits about you. You will feel better if you start taking definite steps in that direction. People post her all the time about finding out their partner cheated or had an affair, but they want to work things out, and the poster doesn't know how to trust them. Your husband is making this easy for you. He doesn't even pretend to want to work on things. Don't forget that decision of his, even if he later changes his mind and wants to work things out. He has chosen the other woman in a clear and unambiguous way. Even if he chooses you later, you already know that doesn't stop him from looking for a better option. Even if your friend decides to end the affair for good, you should assume your husband will look for yet another alternative option to you. Therapy is also a good idea when you can get around to it. You might also look around for support groups, maybe r/surviving_infidelity, or maybe a local group of some kind. Or maybe just a friend or family member or two who you can turn to right now. Not your husband, obviously. Why are people so gross? Your husband is gross, your friend is gross. Having integrity isn't that hard. They are trash masquerading as people. I'm sorry this happened to you. My father-in-law did something similar, so did my uncle. Uncle and aunt stayed together and worked it out. Phil married a fair partner. It's been years and I try to treat them normally, but I just don't have the respect for them, and I can barely stand being in the same room. This will happen to your husband, and honestly, I think it's a very good reason to not bother working things out when a partner has an affair. You can be assured that everyone who knows just barely tolerates the person now.